This is a general summary. Macbeth. So it was set in medieval Scotland and partly based on a true historical account. Macbeth charts the bloody rise to power and tragic downfall of the warrior Macbeth. Okay, already a successful soldier in the army of King Duncan, Macbeth is informed by three witches that he is to become king. As a part of the same prophecy, the witches predict that future Scottish kings will be descended not from Macbeth but from his fellow army captain, that is Banquo. Although initially prepared to wait for fate to take its course, Macbeth is stung by ambition and confusion when King Duncan nominates his son Malcolm as his heir. So that is the setting. That is basically it happened in Scotland, and the main event is that Macbeth and his friend Banquo, they met the three witches. It was a kind of accident, okay, and then later on all these things happened. We'll see the next one. That is returning to his castle. Macbeth allows himself to be persuaded and directed by his ambitious wife, Lady Macbeth, who realizes that regicide, the murder of the king, is the quickest way to achieve the destiny that her husband has been promised. A perfect opportunity presents itself when King Duncan pays a royal visit to Macbeth's castle. അപ്പോൾ അവർ ambitious ആയി മാറി, ഓൾറെഡി അവർ power driven ആയി മാറിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. And then at first Macbeth is loath to commit a crime that he knows will invite judgment, if not on earth then in heaven. Basically അത് മാത്രമല്ല, കിങ് ഡങ്കൻ്റെ ഒരു റിലേറ്റീവ് കൂടിയാണ് മാക്ബത്ത്. So it's like killing our family member, and it is a great crime to kill one's king. Okay. Once more, however, his wife prevails upon him. Following an evening of revelry, Lady Macbeth drugs the guards of the king's bedchamber. Then, at a given signal, Macbeth, although filled with misgivings, ascends to the king's room and murders him while he sleeps. Haunted by what he has done, Macbeth is once more reprimanded by his wife, whose inner strength seems only to have been increased by the treacherous killing. Suddenly, both are alarmed by a loud knocking at the castle door. So basically that's happening there. And then when the drunken porter of Macbeth's castle finally responds to the noise, he opens the door to Macduff, a loyal follower of the king who has been asked to awake Duncan in preparation for the return journey. King Duncan തിരിച്ചു കൊണ്ടുപോകാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് വന്നതായിരുന്നു Macduff. So Macbeth indicates the location of King's room and Macduff discovers the body. When the murder is revealed, Macbeth swiftly kills the prime witnesses, that is the sleepy guards of the king's bedchamber, and Lady Macbeth faints. അപ്പോൾ എന്തിനാ പെട്ടെന്ന് ഇങ്ങനെ ചെയ്തതെന്ന് ചോദിക്കുമ്പോൾ she just faints. Okay. And then the assembled lords of Scotland, including Macbeth, swear to avenge the murder. With suspicion heavy in the air, the king's two sons flee the country, that is Donalbain to Ireland and Malcolm to raise an army in England. Okay, now Macbeth is duly proclaimed the new king of Scotland, but recalling the witch's second prophecy, he arranges the murder of his fellow soldier Banquo and his son Fleance, both of whom represent a threat to his kingship according to the witch's prophecy. The hired murders, that is basically the assassins, kill Banquo but mistakenly allow Fleance to escape. Fleance escape ചെയ്യും ചെയ്തു, Banquo കൊല്ലപ്പെടുകയും ചെയ്യാണ്. At a celebratory Banquo, that is basically a party. Okay, that night Macbeth is thrown into a state of horror when the ghost of the murdered Banquo appears at the dining table. അപ്പോൾ അവിടെ ഒരു പാർട്ടി നടത്തിയിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അതിൽ എന്താണ്, Banquo appears as a in the form of a ghost. ഓക്കെ, അപ്പോൾ അത് വളരെ ഒരു പ്രശ്നം ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്നത് ആർക്ക്, മാക്ബത്തിന് മാത്രമേ ഇത് കാണാൻ പറ്റുന്നുള്ളൂ. Again his wife tries to strengthen Macbeth, but the strain is clearly beginning to show. Now what happens is that the following day Macbeth returns to the same witches because he was completely disturbed because of this ghost and that kind of things, to the same witches who initially foretold his destiny. This time the witches not only confirm that the sons of Banquo will rule in Scotland, but they also add a new prophecy, that is, Macbeth will invincible in battle until the time when the forest of Birna moves towards his stronghold at Dunsinane, and until he meets an enemy not born of woman. Okay, അപ്പോൾ ആ ഒരു സമാധാനത്തിൽ എന്താണ് മാക്ബത്ത് തിരിച്ചു പോരുകയാണ്. കാരണം the thing is that he is actually really confused. He's frightened, but the thing is that this burning, the forest of burning, Burnham will move to, or it should come towards this castle of Dunstan is practically impossible. Okay, അതുപോലെ തന്നെ എവറി മാൻ ഇൻ ദ വേൾഡ് ഈസ് ബോൺ ഔട്ട് ഓഫ് എ വുമൻ. അപ്പോൾ അതുകൊണ്ട് അങ്ങനെ ഒരു പോസിബിലിറ്റി ഇല്ല, ഇത് രണ്ടും നടക്കാൻ സാധ്യതയില്ല. സോ ഹി ഡിസ്മിസിങ് ബോത്ത് ഓഫ് ദീസ് പ്രിഡിക്ഷൻസ് ആസ് നോൺ സെൻസ്, Macbeth prepares for invasion. Okay. Now, when he is told that Macduff has deserted him, Macduffന് സംശയമായി, Macduff അദ്ദേഹത്തിനെ വിട്ടുപോവാണ്. Macbeth begins the final stage of his tragic descent. His first move is the destruction of Macduff's wife and children. And in England, Macduff receives the news at the very moment that he swears his allegiance to the young Malcolm. Malcolm persuades him that the murder of his family should act as the spur to revenge. സോ വൺ ബൈ വൺ ആയിട്ട് ഇദ്ദേഹം കയ്യിൽ നിന്ന് കംപ്ലീറ്റ് ആയിട്ട് പോകുന്ന രീതിയിലാണ് കാര്യങ്ങൾ പോകുന്നത്. Now, meanwhile, in Scotland, Lady Macbeth has been taken ill. She walks in her sleep and seems to recall in fragmentary memory the details of the murder. Now, in a series of alternating scenes, means basically ഇദ്ദേഹം യുദ്ധത്തിന് ഉള്ള തയ്യാറെടുപ്പുകൾ നടത്തുന്നു, അതേസമയം തന്നെ എങ്ങനെയാണ് മാറി മാറി സീനുകൾ കാണിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. Now, in a series of alternating scenes, the action of the play moves rapidly between the advancing army of Markham and the defensive preparation of Macbeth. Now, what happens is that when Markham's army disguise themselves with a swarm of branches, Macbeth sees what appears to be a wood moving towards his stronghold at Dunsinane. And when he finally meets Macduff in single combat, his sworn enemy reveals that he came into the world by cesarean section. He was not, precisely speaking, born of woman. Basically, he is taken from a woman, cut out from a woman. Okay. On hearing this news, Macbeth rejects one final time the witch's prophecy. Then, with a loud cry, he launches himself at Macduff and is slain. In the final scene, Markham is crowned as the new king of the Scotland, to acclaim of all. So, this is a kind of short summary of this thing, that is this play, Macbeth.